Joining us is a lady who is no stranger to the Observer. She's always a go-to person when, of course, we're talking about the political climate here in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me, of course, wish her a happy new year and all the best for 2025 and beyond, and say a special good evening to political analyst Dr. Indira Rampersad. Good evening.
Hi, Mikee K. Good evening to you. Hope you're having a good one. Happy New Year 2025 and beyond. Hope it brings you lots of peace, prosperity, and goodwill.
Thank you. Let me start off, going back to some of the comments that you made leading up to what transpired as far as from the Prime Minister's announcement of Stuart Young. You said back then, of course, that the Prime Minister is putting Stuart Young forward as acting Prime Minister to get his supporters and the population comfortable for him as the leader. So it is a sort of initiation without election. We know it does not work that way, but these are all strategies that politicians can try. What was it? Was it tried and tested and finally said, listen, this is the individual that we want to go with?
Well, tried and tested where, Mikee K? Because all we heard is that there was some kind of retreat for 2 days, Sunday and Monday in Tobago, Magdalena. And then we hear that there was a straw vote. And I never knew that that was the procedure or the process that the PNM follow. I know there is a general pretty well solid. So it was incomprehensible, I think, even for members of parliament on the PNM side to understand what was happening here, because not only was it, can it be perceived as undemocratic, but one may go so far as to say it's dictatorial. It is deviating from traditional party procedures, and it's surprising that some PNM MPs would actually support it. I don't know if you saw the email, the text that was circulating late yesterday evening. I got one showing the members from who supported Team Penny and the members who supported Team Stuart Young, and it was 9/11.
Right.
No pun intended. It was 9/11.
Yeah, and looking at that, what you're saying there echoes some of the sentiments that the former vice chairman of the party, Robert Lahan, says. He says that the country deserves a prime minister who has the full support of the political party he or she represents. And I guess he's saying, listen, it was so close and such, going down, when you look at the numbers, Mr. Young does not have that full support. Is it going to be quite a challenge for him to level things off and even get some of the work done?
Well, more than that, it is going to be precarious. The opposition voices to this deviation of procedure is not only coming from Lahan, it is also coming from Ferdie Ferreira, Jennifer Baptiste-Primus, who are PNM stalwarts and have been in the past. Ferdie Ferreira was a founding member of the party. Jennifer Baptiste-Primus was on the former Minister of Labour. And then we had 9 in the current administration that is not supporting. So when I say precarious, there are other issues here, Mikee K. Issues of ethnicity, issues of class. Can Mr. Stuart Young really identify with the Afro base of the PNM? We know that the main political parties are ethnically aligned with Trinidad. Can he identify with the LGBTQ community after the Zami comments against the opposition leader, very unsavory comments? Would he get that support? Would he get support from the PNM base? Would he get support from the working class with the perception that he himself hails from, a business elite background with a father who allegedly is an actor of the PNM? Like we said, we don't know whether these allegations are true because we have no campaign legislation in place to reveal such information. But the issue of identifying and identification between the leader and the electorate, the votership, is critical, especially in the run-up to a general election. Then we also have this issue of the Prime Minister announcing PNM convention in September.
Yeah.
And elections are constitutionally due in August. So they have 90 days thereafter, but this is walking a tightrope. Is he going to be the political leader until September, while Mr. Stuart Young is the prime minister? So there will be a prime minister who's not a political leader, and there will be a political leader who's not a prime minister. When the Constitution speaks about the presidential appointment, the party with the members who have most support in the House, it was post-election. It was after an election, the outcome of an election. It was not before an election. So the whole timeline of Dr. Rowley is very, very strange. It's very strange when you look at what has happened, a state of emergency, resignation, or indication of resignation, followed by selection, I want to say selection, maybe election, by some kind of sure vote of Mr. Stuart Young as the successor to the Prime Minister. His intention to deal with some issues, after Carnival and attend the CARICOM summit. All very, very strange in a very short time. So it seems as though somebody is being pressured, maybe pressured to give up the prime ministership. I wonder whether it is the business sector that has approached him, and whether their choice is Minister Stuart Young.
Well, I may bring up an issue like that. I mean, really and truly, there is some history. I mean, we saw something like that took place, similar to Mr. Manning, of course, before the 2010 elections, where he was basically summoned to a private residence in the West. And coming out of that, we got the perception that it was the business community saying, listen, you seem not to be able to handle things. We don't have confidence in you. And, just a little time after that, the election bell rung. One asks, is a deliberate, looking on, is this deliberately set up to put the party and by extension the country into some sort of chaotic mode to create some sort of distraction? Because why would we welcome such instability going into a new year?
Well, I think the pressure was on with the escalating crime, the property tax, the economy in shambles, the foreign exchange crisis, the high rate of unemployment. I think the pressure was on from the business sector, and I think the Prime Minister himself was afraid to face the polls. I don't think this is a magnanimous act by any means. I think it is one of fear, one of cowardice in some ways, of facing the polls and knowing that you're going to lose. And he just did not want to have to deal with that, because, the writing was on the wall.
I agree with you 100%. I want to thank you for saying that as crystal clear as possible, because we have to ask, what is the fear factor here? What is the Prime Minister afraid of? We've had Prime Ministers in the past. We've gone to the polls. Somebody has to win. Somebody, of course, has to lose. But for whatever reason, we're seeing a lot of shenanigans and stuff being played out as if to simply buy time. If a decision is made, then why is there this reluctancy or hesitancy to make that next step to say, listen, I'm bowing out, this is the case, there's
within your own party, follow the procedures.
Yeah, exactly.
You have your convention, have the election, and it goes beyond the 21 members that they have in the House. The PNM party, as we know, is big, it's huge. It extends, beyond the boundaries of Trinidad and Tobago, if we want to say that. But I think as we're talking about beyond the boundaries of TNT, there will also be an international dimension of this. Mikee K, you and I have discussed at length the Dragon gas fields. And what if there is some international pressure with regard to that? Because I can tell you, Donald Trump is not prepared to tolerate Nicolas Maduro. This is rightists as they come against leftists as they come. That ideological divide and schism is going to widen with Donald Trump at the helm of the presidency in the United States. So that deal, we understand, was going through even before Donald Trump became president, and I think humongous amount of resources have been expended there. And like I said, we still need to see that treaty. What are the provisions of that treaty? What are the specifications? What have they identified as the main tenets of that treaty? we are yet to see.
You're kind of breaking up a bit there, so if you want to stay, just stay on a bit. Now, you mentioned something earlier as far as crime and the Forex challenge, the economy and what have you. What will Mr. Young be able to bring forward that Dr. Rowley couldn't have delivered to the people of this country?
Well, whoever has put the pressure to have Dr. Rowley resign will have to now make sure that Minister Young can now alleviate the crime in what? We have 8 months or 7 months?
Yeah, I don't know if you're moving around because we kind of, I know you're distance away, so we are trying to
I think hearing me better.
hear you better. Go right ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so what I'm saying is that whoever may be exerting pressure on the Prime Minister to resign certainly is expecting Minister Young to alleviate the crime in a matter of 8 months or less to alleviate the property tax and the resistance of the population is imposing on that. The foreign exchange crisis also has to be resolved. The economy, which is in shambles, has to be addressed. The unemployment rate, the rising food prices, and the inflation. So, Minister Young, the issues have not changed. As we say, it's buy wine in new bottles. The issues are the same, and it's the same team he is working with. It's the same Minister of National Security. It's the same Minister of Works. It's the same Minister of Public Utilities. It's the same Minister of everything. He's going to be working with. So how does he have a magic wand? How is he going to resolve these issues? What it is about him that is so special that Dr. Rowley could not achieve that he would achieve?
Yeah. And you're right, and I think that is the main question that many of the citizens are asking about what is going to be different. I mean, if you look at what took place in the United States in that presidential election, the question was asked to Kamala Harris, if you had to do anything different, what would you do? And she said, absolutely nothing. And I think that may have also helped course the election. So what definitely can Minister Young bring to us, provide for us, deliver, and provide a service to the people that we have not gotten in almost 9+ years?
Yes, and I think the population is looking on with bated breath. So if they thought that it's a breath of fresh air, I think that is how he's describing him. I think they need to think twice because you're now putting the party under tremendous pressure. And then you have 9 MPs, if that is a fact, who did not support it. Not about the senators, but even more important than those few, those are very few in the scheme of things, Even more important is the votership, the base, the PNM base. It's not like, the head is like an emperor without clothes if you don't have a solid base backing you, because the safe seats are on that base, and so are the marginals. While the marginals require additional votes, you still have to have the base intact in the marginal seats before you can seek to attract the others, the middle group, So,
and where does those 9 individuals that did not support Mr. Young, how do they factor into this equation? Because is it going to be smooth sailing? Is he going to get full assistance, full cooperation? Are they simply just going to fall in line, the rank and file fall in line behind Mr. Young and give him that full support? Or can we expect some sort of undermining, as the case may be, going forward?
Well, they couldn't possibly be happy. The fact that they voted against it, they couldn't possibly be happy. In fact, I think many of them are stewing right now. So imagine a scenario, a hypothetical scenario, where Minister Stuart Young is the Prime Minister, and the opposition leader brings a vote of no confidence in the Parliament. How would those 9 votes? And let's say the opposition get 15 or 14, let's just say, and 9 is against, and 11 for. What happens, Mikee K? You trigger an election immediately.
That's right. That's right. I know you are. I know you're out and about. I don't want to take up much of your time. Any closing comments?
Well, it makes for interesting time. Unprecedented to have a Prime Minister demit office a few months months before a general election. I have given my spin on that. I think it's sheer cowardice to face the polls in the face of looming failure. And,
Yeah.
you know, to appoint a member who is not very popular, who is pretty green in the party, who did not come out of the barrels of the PNM, who is not a grassroots PNM stock, to lead the party into an election where 9 of your MPs did not support him. Mikee K, need I say more?
I agree with you. I believe it was a coward move. I mean, we've had, like I said, we've had prime ministers that have faced the polls before with victorious, some have lost, but we have moved on. I mean, what we're seeing here now is something totally different. And this paradigm shift in no way seems to benefit or create any opportunity for our politics here moving forward. People who are on the outside looking in are calling and asking what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm certain that at the end of the day, this is going to give us, if not a geopolitical black eye for the way how affairs are being handled in this country.
And the world is looking on. You know, there were about
That's right.
10 of them I counted. There may have been more. Al Jazeera, UK Guardian, Daily Mail were trying to interview me. There were just so many. So it certainly aroused the interest of the international community.
All right. Thank you so much again. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And of course, when you're back in right here on the shores, we will have you on as well. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me, and you are most welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah.